You said that there are three categories of people who vote Republican, and that Trump introduced the fourth one. Can you go through the four categories?
Sure. So you've got like your pro-business, low-tax Republicans. These are mostly people like Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney has a bit of the social conservatism as well. He's Mormon and that's there. But Mitt Romney primarily, particularly as a Northeast sort of Republican, I mean, I know Utah, but governor of Massachusetts, he is like a low-tax pro-business type guy. You've got your libertarian type Republicans who are primarily about freedom and liberty. Often they are actually more socially liberal, where they go, I don't care about gay marriage, liberal, I don't care so much about abortion. And that overlapped a little bit with the Tea Party movement in 2010, although Tea Party did have a religious component, but sort of like the libertarian freedom-minded folks, and then the religious conservatives, people that support candidates like Josh Hawley or Ted Cruz, et cetera, where their big thing are social issues. Often they actually want Christianity being civil government. They don't want separation of church and state. Those are traditionally the three Republican groups. The one that Trump introduced was people who just didn't really pay attention to politics, but either followed celebrity or had grievances that they didn't yet have a scapegoat for, and were sort of right-leaning culturally, even though they didn't attribute that to republicanism. And Trump was able to bring them into politics, often for the first time as voters. They could be part of any of those three groups if they get more into politics or kind of be their own thing. But they're more kind of like cult of personality, I'm here for Trump types.
Did it have to do anything about the culture wars and the identity politics, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, so in 2016, when Trump mobilized them, those weren't really issues the way they are now. Mm-hmm. So I think at that time, it certainly was not a factor.
What was the mobilizing issue? It was just anti-Hillary in 2016?
He did a good job on anti-Hillary, but a lot of it was identifying real economic problems, wage depression, lack of jobs in parts of the country, Ohio and Indiana. Trump rightly identified, like, we have an issue here. We don't have enough entrepreneurship, et cetera. But there was also a lot of scapegoating that was, China and people coming through the US-Mexico border were popular scapegoats for a lot of those problems. This gets us kind of to populism. Populism is a rhetoric, and populism as a rhetoric doesn't necessarily come with particular policies. You can be a populist, a user of populist rhetoric and propose solutions that would be more aligned with Bernie or Tucker Carlson. Populists will often identify the plight of the middle class. The difference would be Bernie will say, we've got to put some restrictions on how much billionaires can make, and we've got to reinvest in these social programs. Tucker will say, BLM taking your house and a brown person from Mexico taking your job are what we need to deal with. So the populist rhetoric can lend itself to very different policy, and Trump used that very effectively in 2016.
Why do you think Hillary Clinton was hated as intensely as she was by a certain percent of the population? It feels like that's the first election I witnessed where there's a lot of hate. Maybe I'm misremembering. I don't remember Obama. I don't remember the degree of hate. There was conspiracy theories that he wasn't born in this country, but I don't remember hate towards Obama.
Record death threats under Obama, more than any previous president.
Right, towards who? Towards him.
Towards him, yeah. Do you mean more hate between voters? Or
between voters, but like, that's, I guess, what I was speaking to, but that hate was directed towards the narrative, the thread that connected all of that in 2016 was Hillary Clinton.
Few different things. And I'm not ranking these. These are just all things that come to mind. One is Hillary Clinton had been around in the political space for a long time, from her time as First Lady through as Senator, Secretary of State, et cetera. So I think that there was enough time for different groups to develop an antipathy towards her for different reasons. So time. Secondly, Trump's branding of her as crooked was very effective, where there were so many people demanding that she be imprisoned. If you ask them what is the crime, they don't know, but she should definitely be locked up. That became a very big thing. the email story, as it were, and James Comey doing a second public event about that investigation, even though there wasn't any actual news about it, just doing a second event about it at the last minute, I think hurt her and also generated some hate. And I don't find Hillary Clinton to be particularly likable. Although I voted for her, I thought she was the better candidate. And I think that there are others who also didn't find her particularly likable. Those are a lot of impediments to becoming president.
Well, I was trying to understand why there's so many conspiracy theories about Clintons in general, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. And maybe I'm not researched well enough.
The why of it.
The why of it, actually, the extent of the conspiracy theories, the sort of the conspiracy theories that they've killed a lot of people, this kind of stuff.
It's hard for me to speak to them because I'm aware that they exist, but I'm not an expert in them because they seem so obviously baseless to the degree that I've researched them a little bit and then I move on. And, it's been years since I've looked at this stuff. I know there's the Seth Rich one and there's the Clinton body count one. I think there's one connected to Epstein, if I recall correctly. There's all sorts of these different ones. Without speaking to any of them specifically, because I'm not the expert on Clinton conspiracies, it does seem as though this stuff for so long has generated an audience. I mean, I remember in the supermarket when Bill Clinton was president at the checkout, seeing the tabloids, and there was stuff about Hillary birthed an alien baby and, it seems like it's been titillating to people for a very long time.